The story of Roanoke is really one of the first great mysteries in American history. This was England's first attempt to establish a permanent settlement in the New World. So a motivated group sets out in 1587 and establishes this permanent village on the island of Roanoke, just off the coast of Virginia. They're supposed to be resupplied every year, but the English, they get distracted because they're fighting this war with Spain. By the time the supply ships finally return, almost 3 years later, the colony has completely vanished. All they find are the bones of one man and this word Croatoan carved on a post left in the encampment. Well, this has turned into one of these mythical legends of American history. No one knows what this word means. No one knows what happened to these guys. And everyone has had a hypothesis. Now, some believe they were captured by hostile Spanish coming up from the south. Some say that they assimilated into the native population. Some say that, with no supply efforts, these guys built this boat and headed off back to England, but were lost at sea. But of course, there's no proof of any of this. Now, what seems far likelier is that when this supply ship returned, all they found were corpses. And now the financiers have a problem. They need the colonists to make these colonies profitable. But who's going to go to America if it means certain death? So instead of reporting what they find, they cover it up. They let the rumors swirl around, and they obscure what really happened. As a result, settlers will see America as worth the risk. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened, as England was able to finance a second colonization effort in 1607 with the founding of Jamestown.
Oh, shit.
This is the Weird Shit Podcast.
Is that a joint, man?
And I wouldn't flaunt your ignorance.
Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
Phil, cut that out. We had to replace Dave because
fucking Dave
is fucking up all the time.
Yeah, who would have thought he was a cult leader?
So
You didn't know?
Yeah, I knew.
I mean, we kind of all knew. So my girlfriend has 3 kids, and I'm going to see them in December. And she was talking to her youngest, and he was like, when Mike comes, tell him that I want to ask him Bigfoot questions. And I was like,
which is adorable.
Yeah, it's fucking so cute, right? But I'm like, Bigfoot questions. Like, what kind of Bigfoot questions would a 7-year-old have?
Well, the way walk up to you and go, so, is it true what they say?
About big feet?
About big feet.
About big feet? Do they?
You gotta order custom shoes and it costs 3 times as much.
do big feet sleep in the woods? Where does a big feet sleep? Do you call the babies little feet? Because I think they would be called feetlets. I think that's what a Bigfoot baby would be.
Why not biglets?
Biglets is good too. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. Squatchlets.
Little nubs.
Yeah, little nubs.
Baby feet.
Hairlets. Little tiny feets.
Does Bigfoot shave?
That's an interesting question. I wonder if Bigfoot does shave. I mean, on his face, it's
clearly he went to what's that one town? I think it's in Mexico where there's like a whole bunch of people with that hairy disease where they have like the hair covering their whole face.
Oh yeah, we're like the
Wolfman
hair
disease or whatever it's called. Yeah, clearly he spent like a month there.
That's secretly what it is. Like, that's what the Bigfoot has been this whole time. I personally think
he just pillaged a place in Mexico.
I read a comic book where Bigfoot was actually Chewbacca, and he had like Han Solo had like crashed, and like Indiana Jones finds like dead Han Solo, and like Bigfoot is Chewbacca. It was so fucking cool.
I love it.
So tonight we're going to be having a bit of a mystery on our hands. We're talking about the Roanoke colony. So Palmer, what do you know about the Roanoke colony?
Is that the place with the rapids?
With the rapids?
Roanoke Rapids.
Roanoke Rapids? I mean, it could be. Is that like a Busch Gardens thing? I don't know what Roanoke Rapids is.
I thought that was just. I don't know. I thought that was just like a place where people go and do kayaking.
They do things
kayaking.
really fast.
Yeah.
That's what.
It's very rapid.
No, it's
city.
like like kayaking, rapids. Yeah, whitewater rafting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's wrong with blackwater rafting? Why has it got to be whitewater?
You just assume.
And when
After
you
the
assume, you make an ass out of yourself.
There's that whole mercenary thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Blackwater rafting. They're just shooting like Iraqis from the fucking kayak as you're going. Just fucking like destroying schools and hospitals. Like
just burning oil fields all
suppressing indigenous peoples. Which is actually pretty similar to what this is actually going to be about. So it's not that different.
They just all died in the river.
Exactly.
They were like, yo, let's go for a dope weekend of whitewater rafting at Roanoke Rapids. And they're all like, woo!
Yeah. I mean, they were like Puritan colonists. They were clearly not qualified to be rafting in that level of a rapid.
What happened is everybody's wearing white, and then they went whitewater rafting. And then they're like, "Oh God, I can see you through your clothing. Let's just purge ourselves real quick."
They went sex nuts and retard strong and just killed each other.
I just imagine they're all rafting down the river, and it's just like that scene in Indiana Jones. And it's just natives all over the banks.
Start the plane! Start the plane, Chuck!
We gotta get back to Europe.
Start the plane! So, what do you know about Roanoke, Ryan?
Well, I know that there were some very nice.
If you talk about biplanes again, I swear to God.
Not this time, no. If only. So biplane fights are a lot happier compared to what I'm about to talk about. I'm gonna hit you with some truths. The reality, some truth. All right. So,
tell me the reality of your truths.
All right. So you guys remember the end of the Silent Hill movie when Satan is like. And the demon lady were using the barbed wire to like rip up all those people.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to Roanoke because that was what Pocahontas did to all those poor people.
She sang with all the colors of the wind, and like all the like thorns like come to life and start ripping people to pieces.
Yeah, so it was pretty tragic.
Or paint with with all the colors of the wind. Except in this case, it's all red because it's their blood.
Exactly.
She just screams a banshee shriek and like and just turns into a banshee and murders everybody.
Just like
the raccoon like goes crazy and starts ripping people's genitals off. It's like washing them in the river real quick and then eating them.
The hummingbird just keeps poking people's eyes out.
John Smith is just like furiously masturbating. It's like the best thing he's ever seen.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Savage.
Who knew there were so many shades of red?
Can you paint with all the colors of their blood?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
apparently yes.
So, the Roanoke colony, also known as the Lost Colony, is a colony that was established in 1585 on Roanoke Island in what is today Dare County, North Carolina.
Oh, wait. They're called the Lost Colony? Didn't they make a movie about that with those 5 kids? The Lost Boys?
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Factual?
Yeah.
Isn't that about this?
Yeah, that's probably
right.
has something to do with this.
Oh, wait, was this in space?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Were they lost in space?
But, so here's the thing: we're gonna get to theories, and when we get to theories, we will talk about that.
Danger, John Smith.
They're lost because all their tethers broke off the space station and they're just floating through space.
They're lost because the Earth is flat. And it got hit by a meteor, and it just happened to spin in just the right way to dump them off.
Exactly. Onto the flat Earth.
Got it.
Wake up, sheeple.
How far away is that from Raleigh?
I have no idea. I actually am going to check.
Because I feel like we could just go visit and try to find them, like, or make signs,
Raleigh,
right? And like,
Just go there and be like, hey!
hey, have you guys seen these people? And just have like a sign of like all these. Wow, that's Virginia. That's
That's not it. Roanoke Island.
Oh, it's an island. Nag's Head.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 3 hours
Is
away.
that on the Outer Banks or in the
Looks
on
like
the
it's on
Sound?
the Outer Banks.
I
Something
think
like
it's on
that.
the Sound.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's an island. I don't know. Never mind.
It's off of the Sound.
It's wherever the nags are.
Yeah. You don't want to go there. That's Nag country.
That's Naga country.
That's where everybody gets their wives from.
Am I right? Am I right, fellas?
Am I right?
Come on, guys. You know what I'm talking about.
Naga stole my bike.
So,
Whoa!
to all our lizard people listeners, I apologize. So, it
Do they
was
sell sake there? Nagasaki.
They did until it got bombed.
somebody got way too bombed and just fucked everyone up.
They just sell sake bombs and they call it the Naga. The
Nagasaki bombs.
Nagasaki bombs.
God damn
There's
it.
a bunch of Japanese lizard people. What the hell is going on in this damn town?
We are
That's
breaking
it! I'm nuking this town! It makes no sense!
We are breaking this wide open. So basically, it was like in the 16th century, Queen Elizabeth I was like, "Man, Spain and France, they got shit all over the New World. We gotta get our shit over there." And so she's like, "Yo, Sir Walter Raleigh, you take this boat, you
Raleigh,
go make a
what?
colony." And so he did, and basically, the people there all disappeared after their mayor was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back to England and report in." They're like, "Aye, dude." He's like, put a cross on a tree if you get taken against your will or something. And they're like, "Okay, that's kind of weird, but sure."
That's kind of ominous.
Yeah.
Why would you tell me that?
He's like, "Don't worry about it. It's no big deal."
How
And
come
then,
you didn't tell any of the other colonies
Wait a
that?
minute, yeah.
why do I have to make the cross?
So just in case you guys get like in this, just as like a 1 in a million chance, if you get into a scenario where like some dudes come and take you all, just start doing crosses. Just start crossing on trees. You know, I mean,
Don't like write a letter explaining what's happening.
yeah.
Just
And now
do
if-
something very vague.
If you die to like famine or like or people just start, becoming dehydrated, don't worry about it. Just die.
I bet you they're just like, you know what? Let's fuck with everyone for like the next couple hundred years. Let's just like pick up and move 30 miles.
What if the guy was just really drunk and forgot where he left the town?
No. So like they're in this town. They're like, dude, that guy just left, and like the Spanish are north, right? Let's just que pasa?
What's happening?
go up north and just like start speaking broken ass Spanish, pretending that you're part of their colony.
Problem solved. The Spanish will fuck anybody.
I'm
so
local, man.
Walker, you're the only cop that I respect.
They unbutton every single button on their blouse except the top one.
They just show up like cholos.
Yeah, this is some cholo ass Puritans.
Cholo Puritans. Oh, that would be incredible. So
Just got like hydraulics on their cars.
Their horses.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
So the Queen's Charter to Raleigh said that he was supposed to, quote, discover, search, find out, and view such remote heathen and barbarous lands, countries, and territories to have, hold, occupy, and enjoy. Apparently he was supposed to establish a base from which they would send privateers to raid Spanish fleets. It was basically because England was going to be like, yo, fuck you, Spain. Like, we can fight you in war. Is basically what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, we fuck you up, Spain. And instead, their colony just disappeared because they're incompetent.
Yep.
So,
classic.
So on April 27th of 1584, Raleigh dispatched an expedition led by Philip Amadis and Arthur Barlow to explore the eastern coast of North America. They got to Roanoke Island on July 4th and established relations with the local natives, the Sakotans and Croatoans. Barlow returned to England with 2 Croatoans named Manteo and Wanchese.
Wanchese?
Wanchese.
Yeah, he's... I have a bad feeling about Wanchese.
I wonder if he's friends with Thundercloud. Thundercloud! Who were able to describe the politics and geography of the area to Raleigh. They're like, yo,
there's
over
clay
there...
fucking everywhere. Don't try to dig. It won't work.
It's worthless. You can't plant any crops but cotton and tobacco. That's all that's going to grow.
Huh. We'll take it.
Sold.
It's humid as fuck.
And based on their information, Raleigh made a second expedition led by Sir Richard Grenville. Grenville's fleet left Plymouth on April 9th of 1585 with 5 main ships. The Tiger, the Roebuck, the Red Lion, the Elizabeth, and the Dorothy.
Wait, okay. Wait, one more time.
Okay. Tiger, Roebuck, Red Lion, Elizabeth, and Dorothy.
What's a red lion?
I don't know, but that sounds awesome.
A Red Lion would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
What? Wait. No. Red Lion... No. For some reason, I was thinking that was like Jaime Lannister's nickname. For some reason, I was like, wasn't he like the Red Lion? No, probably not.
I thought he was the
kind of should be
handless lion.
Yeah, he's dope.
The three-paw lion.
Like the first time you ran through it, I thought you said lion and then red lion.
Lion and red lion. Lion.
They got
red lion.
Hey,
blue lion.
We picked lion already.
Yeah, this one's red. It's better.
Look at that
A
shit.
lion.
Look at that regular ass tiger.
2 lions. They call one of the ships 2 lions. It just has 2 lions on the front of it. They're like, you motherfuckers.
Or
Price is right at them.
Yes.
They start doing like the Star Wars theme. Red lion.
Red lion.
Red tiger.
Check again.
Red Elizabeth. Red Dorothy.
So, a severe storm off the coast of Portugal separated Tiger from the rest of the fleet.
Oh, Tiger, no.
Tiger, no! The captains had a contingency plan if they were separated, which was they were going to meet up in Puerto Rico. And
ended up in Southeast Asia.
So Tiger ended up in Guayana Bay on May 11th. While waiting for the other ships, Grenville established relations with the Spanish and tried to also perform like privateering against them. So he's like, yo, what's up? My name's Grenville. I'm here to wreck your shit. And just starts attacking their ships.
Smokes, let's go.
He also... Smokes, losers, let's go. I am the liquor. So he also built a fort, and the Elizabeth came a little after the fort was built. Grenville eventually tired of waiting for the remaining ships and departed on June 7th. The fort was abandoned, and its location remains unknown.
There's just a mysterious fort out there somewhere.
Yeah, this guy is bad at knowing where shit is, because he loses this fort, and then he loses a fucking colony, too.
Shit, where did I put that fort?
So, when they were exploring the coast and the native settlements, the Europeans blamed the natives of the Aquascagak for stealing a silver cup, and in retaliation, they
genocided them.
They sacked and burned the village.
Yep, that's reasonable.
Richard Hakluyt reported on the incident. Says let's see. His reports of the first voyage to Roanoke were compiled from accounts by various financial backers, including Sir Walter Raleigh. Hakluyt never traveled to the New World himself. Despite this incident and a lack of food, Grenville decided to leave Ralph Lane and 107 men to establish a colony at the north end of Roanoke Island. He's like, yo, I'll be back in April of 1586 with more men and supplies. Don't worry about it. Like, you guys won't starve to death. Even though you're starving to death, I'll totally be back with stuff. And then he left on August 17th of 1585.
Pretty sure they just died to Poseidon.
They could have. We'll get into that in theories for sure.
Theories.
Grenville and the Tiger,
facts.
on only his 7th day of sail, captured, after a 3-day battle, a Spanish galleon, the Santa Maria de San Vicente, off Bermuda, which he took with him as a prize back to England. As April of 1586 passed, there was no sign of Grenville's relief fleet. Meanwhile, in June, bad blood resulted from the destruction of the village, and this spurred an attack on the fort by the local Native Americans, which the colonists were able to repel. After the attack, Sir Francis Drake was on his way home from a successful raid in the Caribbean, and he stopped at the colony and offered to take the colonists back to England. He's like, yo, you guys are like fucking dying, right? You want to come back with me? They're like, nah, he'll be back soon. Several accepted, including metallurgist Joachim Gans. On this return village...
Wait. This is a metallurgist named Guns?
Yeah, Joachim Gans. Gans. I think it's Joachim. It's Joachim. Yeah, I've never heard that in an English name before, so I don't know what that would be.
He's British, and his name is Joachim. They couldn't make up their mind on what to name him, so they just started picking random syllables out of a hat. They did that what's that old game show
Joe.
where they're just like, it's that British game show, I think, where they like scramble all the letters together. But anyway, they're like, consonant, vowel.
Batman symbol.
Consonant. And then they go for like 7-8 letters, and then they're like, okay, make a word. And they're like, Joachim.
Nailed it.
Guns.
So on the from this return voyage, the Roanoke colonists introduced tobacco, corn, and potatoes to England. The relief fleet arrived shortly after Drake's departure with the colonists, finding the colony abandoned.
Are British Catholic?
Yeah, I think most of them. No, they were Protestant by this point, right? 1580s?
I don't remember when that happened.
Yeah, I don't remember when that happened either.
Joachim, or however you fucking say it,
It's a saint.
Yeah. It's Saint Anne's husband.
Okay.
So it's part of the Bible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Basically, so Grenville comes back with the relief fleet, and there's nobody there. He's like, yo, what's up? I told you I'd be back. And he's like, hello? Where'd everybody go?
Oh, and it's a Hebrew name, so that's why it looks so fucking weird. It just doesn't translate properly. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Yahweh.
Yahweh!
No, that's not how you say it. It is a Q sound, though.
So, when they came there, they found nothing except a skeleton that may have been the remains of one of the English garrisons. When they could find no one, the master pilot, Simon Fernandez, refused to let the colonists return to the ships, insisting that they establish the new colony of Roanoke. His motives remain unclear, however, and new evidence offered by Brandon Fulham indicates not only that Fernandez had good reason for his actions, but that the decision to alter the Chesapeake Bay destination had already been agreed to prior to their arrival at Roanoke. So, let me see here.
Okay, so, back to Joachim. He is the father of the Virgin Mary.
No shit.
Oh shit.
Not him specifically.
I was gonna say this is about.
This dude's old as fuck.
Yeah, this dude's been
That's-
around forever.
that's why-
Is Yahweh.
Yahweh!
Because of the continuing war with Spain, White was unable to mount another resupply attempt for an additional 3 years. He finally gained passage on a privateering expedition led by John Watts and Walter Raleigh. They agreed to stop off at Roanoke on the way back after raiding the Spanish in the Caribbean. White landed on August 18th of 1590 on his granddaughter's 3rd birthday, but found the settlement deserted. His men could not find any trace of the 90 men, 17 women, and 11 children, nor was there any sign of a struggle or a battle. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a post of the fence around the village. The letters CRO carved into a nearby tree. All the houses and fortifications had been dismantled, which meant that their departure had not been hurried. So literally they took apart the houses before they took off. White instructed the colonists that if anything happened to them, they should carve a Maltese cross on a nearby tree, indicating that their absence had been forced. There was no cross, and White took this to mean that they had moved to Croatoan Island, but he was unable to conduct a search. A massive storm was forming, and his men refused to go any further, and so they left.
I was going to say they moved to Croatoan Island, and then unfortunately the volcano exploded. Oh wait, that was Krakatoa. Right? No, was it Croatoa? What's the name of that?
That was Krakatoa.
Oh, Krakatoa. Nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it. You got
Almost
it.
had it.
People think that you don't know things. They're like, does Palmer know anything? And I'm like, yeah, Palmer's smart as fuck. He knows shit.
Yeah, right. Hold on.
Joachim. Okay.
Nailed it.
That's how. Nailed it. Swish.
It's just the Transformer sound.
The mystery of what became of the 120 settlers who tried to establish England's first colony on the northeast coast of America has remained unresolved for 400 years. Queen Elizabeth I and famed explorer Sir Walter Raleigh had hoped the expedition in the 1580s would create a capital in the New World, but something went terribly wrong. The men, women and children simply vanished, possibly massacred by Native American Indians, and any evidence of a settlement disappeared and the infamous lost colony became rooted in American folklore. Last year, a centuries-old map of the area drawn by a man on that voyage rekindled interest in the fate of the lost colonists. Tests found a hint at the possible location of what may have been intended as the colony's capital near Roanoke Island, apparently drawn in invisible ink. The single quote X marks the spot was shown in the form of a lozenge, the symbol for a fort, on the map drawn by John White, who accompanied Raleigh's first attempt to establish the colony and who led the settlers on their quest to set up the city of Raleigh. The ink, which is also disguised by a piece of paper glued to it, was likely put together using milk, citrus juice or urine, as was common at the time.
So now we get to the good part. Now it's theory time. Right. So, one of the theories, like the biggest one, is probably that they merged with the local tribes. They think that like the people were starving to death, and they were like, let's go to the local, let's go to the natives and be like, yo, we're gonna fucking die. Can you guys help us? And so then the natives took them in.
How long of a time period was it between they got chucked on?
I think
April, from August till April. So it was only like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like they just like ran into the local tribe so fast that they just like melded.
Well, it's like an island. Like, are these tribes on the island? Because Roanoke Island is not that big.
Yeah. Basically,
plus it was hurricane.
I just imagine they just yelled. They were just like, "Hey, can we come over there?" And they're like, "Yeah." Okay.
And the Native Americans are like over there, and they just look over. They're like off in the distance looking, and they just see like smoke signals and shit, and they're just all outside partying, having like a Native American rave, and they're like, can we do some of that peace pipe?
Dude, yeah, just smoking a lot of the peace pipe. I would.
And being
I mean,
outside,
if I was fucking
being
starving
outside
and
all
smelling
day
it.
too, like they probably just got super tan, so they just started to fit in.
Wait, okay, all right. I have a theory. My theory is it's a working theory, but my theory is all right. So you know how like a lot of the Viking explorers, like they disappeared. What if the Croatoan, the Roanoke colony, they just like ran into some Vikings that were lost?
Oh shit!
And they just got pillaged.
It's just one of the Vikings dug a pit that they just all fell into for like 5 minutes.
The Pathfinder.
Yeah.
God damn it!
God damn it!
All the British people are like, those dudes are huge.
This guy has got to stop digging these pits.
Just wiped out a tribe and a colony.
Did you see what I killed that bear with a spear? It's fucking joke.
Oh shit! I'm way too high.
All those people fall into the pit, and the other Viking just says, "That only counts as one."
So John Lawson
Just kills his entire family. He's still like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, it's all about the KBs.
22.
I got them killed, son.
Well, what?
Oh shit!
They're all
Highest
just standing
KD
off the
ratio of
distance.
any Viking.
They're all standing. No, trust me, this is gonna work. And then they just hear, and he's like, "Let's say put up the W."
It's just a busload of orphans drove into the punching pit. It's like, oh shit.
What if the Native Americans were like building a bridge to the island for them to walk on, but like they left like one little jut like going into the water, and they didn't have one of the dudes standing there like this to keep them from falling in like lemmings. So
they got Roadrunner, and there was a sign that said "Don't go that way," and then they just kind of flipped it, and they all went, oh, "Okay, gotcha," and they went the other way on the fork of the road, right off a cliff.
Yep.
Right off
Now
the
just
cliff.
died like lemmings.
So John Lawson wrote in his 1709 work, A New Voyage to Carolina, that the Croatoans living on Hatteras Island used to live on Roanoke Island and claimed to have white ancestors. It says, quote, "Farther confirmation of this we have from the Hatteras Indians, who either then lived on Roanoke Island or much frequented it."
You live in fucking North Carolina, and you just said Hatteras.
Hatteras?
Isn't it Hatteras?
I don't know.
Hatteras? Like
I always knew it was Hatteras.
the Hatteras
Okay,
Lighthouse?
yeah, I guess it's Hatteras.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm sitting there watching you read it going, it can't be right.
No.
It's
I have no idea. I didn't know that was a thing in North Carolina, so that's how little I know about that shit. I've never been to the Outer Banks,
Yeah.
so I have no
I only
clue.
know about it from visiting in like elementary school, going to all those places.
I have no clue. So, if you want to talk to me about Asheville or Raleigh, I can talk about that. But Outer Banks, like, never been. I think I went to the beach one time, but I don't remember where that was. So
probably next to the ocean.
yeah, yeah, definitely next to
It
the
could have been a lake. It could have been.
Oh, yeah. It was just like Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like me and Chris went at like fucking like 3 a.m. to the beach, and then like Katie wandered off somewhere, and we're like, what the fuck? Like,
Should've
where'd
just
she
left
go? We couldn't find her. We were like so fucking worried. We're like standing next to her car. So he says,
You should probably edit that part.
Nah.
he says these tell us that several of their ancestors were white people and could talk in a book as we do. The truth of which...
Wait. They talk in a book?
Yeah, I'm assuming he means like write English, but I don't know.
Wait.
They just make sounds of paper. Just like flapping in the wind, like, they're like, wait, say something?
It's like one of those shitty books from when we were kids that would like read the book to you, and you'd like open it up and it'd be like
Just a horrifying abortion of a sound.
yeah, just like it doesn't like you just wish you could turn off the speaker because it like makes such an annoying noise.
They're just a tribe of speak and spells. Just
The cow
boobs,
serves
boobs.
boobs go jiggle.
Say something else.
The cow says, file not found.
Hey, speak and spell. Who's the coolest? You are.
The cow says,
The turtle goes,
The dog says boobs.
What was that other one? That was like the dinosaur, and he just goes. The dinosaur goes.
Who are you?
Satan be my dad. So they value themselves extremely for their affinity to the English and are ready to do them all friendly offices. It is probable that this settlement miscarried for want of timely supplies from England or through the treachery of the natives. The treachery of the natives. For we may reasonably suppose that the English were forced to cohabit with them.
That's fairly
for
loaded
relief.
language.
Yeah, he's like, treacherous natives, let them live with them and not fucking die. For relief and conversation.
Those savages.
And that in process of time, they conform themselves to the manners of their Indian relations.
So basically, those British people went, hey, you guys, like, live here. So, like, can we also live here? And, like, you teach us how to be dope.
It's like pretty sweet land you have.
They're all sitting around like, hey, we're gonna run out of food, and they're like, we got you. Smoke this.
And I mean, like,
we need to know you're cool. Smoke this first.
No, they're just like, they're looking at the colonists, and the colonists are like, we're gonna run out of food, and they're just like licking their lips. Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, no,
we need to know you're all not cops.
that's another.
Smoke this.
You gotta tell me if you're a cop.
Legally, you have to tell me.
Legally, you have to tell me if you're a cop. So, like, later, people in, like, the 17th and 18th centuries were like, yeah, we met, like, Native Americans who had gray eyes or, like, blonde hair and blue eyes, like, in that area, which is kind of weird. So that's, like, one of the big theories is that they just interbred, but that one's fucking boring. So I would rather talk about other stuff.
Pretty sure they just, like, wore their skin.
Yes! Oh my god! It was a disguise! They couldn't see through the disguise.
Exactly.
They just, like, scalped them all.
They all got eaten by lizards.
They took their skin and turned it into, like, pelts. Walking around with white guy skin coats, wearing their hair.
It's all the rage.
Another theory is that the Spanish sacked the city, but that doesn't really make any sense because all the buildings were, like, deconstructed, so that's weird.
Well,
that would have been.
I mean,
what if they were like Native Americans from the future who had like deconstruction rays?
What if like
That would be awesome.
what if the Spanish were like, oh shit, look at all these building materials, and then took it all?
What if, like, one of them...
Like Minecraft, like, just broke them down.
What if, like...
Dink, dink.
How do you tame a horse in Minecraft?
Give it milk. No, that's not it.
I hate you. I wish Jaden Smith was my son. So, what if they just saw, like, a ghost and just ran Scooby-Doo style across the water? They were like, a ghost!
They were just at the next island,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they just didn't look.
Yeah, they were like literally standing on the next island over, like, waving. They were like, hey, like, we're over here, guys.
No, I bet you, like, when they came back to check on them, they were all just standing there in their, like, new Cholo Puritan outfits. And they were just, like, they were, like, mean-mugging the ship. And they're just like, just keep going, just keep going.
They like, locked the ship doors as they drove past them. They were like, oh.
Like,
They just hear, like, in the distance towards the colony, no.
one of the colonists is, like, sitting on the beach lifting weights.
And, like, the single Latin beat you always hear.
They're just blasting that same Spanish radio station that all the construction
Maybe the
workers listen
Spanish
to
just
stuff.
fucked them into being cholos. Maybe that's what happened.
Just hear, like, gibberish over a loudspeaker.
All the like young Spanish guys came over and just started. Oh, hollering at all the young white women. They're like, hey,
They're like,
mama,
hey, mama,
what's up?
why don't you kill your husband?
I like your turkey.
I like your hair.
I like your like weird hat thing. That's kind of fucking hot.
You seeing anybody?
Do you like chorizo?
Yeah, I'm married.
You
I
look.
can fix that.
I have a boyfriend.
You look like you have a little bit of Spanish in you. Would you like some? so like
My
yeah.
name is Yahim.
Yeah. Maybe it was the Diamantes that he killed everyone's brother. And that was it. The Diamantes.
They killed my brother.
Killed my brother. So, another theory that I'm personally quite fond of is that they were all abducted by aliens, which seems perfectly possible to me because, like, the whole colony was deconstructed. So maybe the aliens were like, they giveth and they taketh away.
Yeah.
Like, they help us build the pyramids, but then they also just, like, tear down Roanoke because it looks like shit.
Yeah.
What if they were like doing experiments and they're like, I wonder if they could live on another planet, and they just like picked them up and put them on the moon and went, oh, they died.
Oh shit! The aliens carved Croatoan in the tree to try to blame the natives. They're like, Croatoan was here. Like, what?
I still like to just picture the aliens jumping out of the ship and just shooting their deconstruction rays.
I think you got a weapon like that in that game I used to play all the time. Humans Must Die or something. Destroy All Humans. That was it. Yeah, that game was fun as hell.
Yeah.
Like the probe, you'd like shoot them with the probe and then their heads would explode, and it was so fun.
Yeah, that game was amazing.
It's fucking dope. So, Palmer,
So,
what do you think happened to the Roanoke colony?
so like, okay, what if
Come closer.
what if they grew gills and just turned into mermen?
Oh my
And
god!
they Roanoke is actually the lost city of Atlantis.
Oh my
The
god!
lost city of Atlanta.
Yeah, the lost city of Atlanta.
Atlanta, North Carolina.
They came back and they were like, "Hey, what's up? You guys want to hop down into this lost city?
You guys want to buy some gillyweed?
You guys ever heard the word of our Lord Cthulhu?
You guys want some? You guys want to know what's made? How we make our sushi?
Wasn't it Dagon that had like the fish people? Am I thinking of the right thing?
Sounds right.
Okay. I was thinking like it was like a whole fucking like town of fish people, and it was really creepy. But yeah, that'd be fucking dope. Everybody turns into like a fish person, and like
They just one day they decided their lungs were completely useless, so they just decided, fuck it, let's grow some gills.
I don't know enough
just
about
evolution.
biology to dispute that.
That is how evolution works.
So
Well,
yeah,
there were so
technically.
few of them that like evolution sped up because their generations go a lot quicker.
I mean, like on Galapagos, it's like that. When you're isolated on an island, the mutations happen more quickly.
Exactly.
Maybe it's also like when you're on an island, a lot of times the organisms end up smaller. Maybe they just shrank until they disappeared.
They were there. They were just waving and screaming, but I couldn't see them.
Nobody
Couldn't hear
could see 'em.
They were just having sex in the ocean, and then the women weren't allowed
They
to
were
leave
spawning.
the ocean for 9 months. So when they gave birth, the kid could swim and breathe water.
Yep,
That's what happened.
that sounds plausible.
And then they all died out.
They all got eaten by bears
They got eaten by.
because they were fish people.
They're all trying to swim upriver.
Just one fucking bear like walks in and eats them all.
It's like a John Goodman bear.
It's a Viking bear. It dug a hole in the middle of the river, and they all fell into the river and died.
So, Ryan, what do you think happened to the Roanoke colony?
So I think there they were. They were sailing. And they're like, let's check in on our colony. And they just hear, boom, 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 and they just sailed right past.
Just rolled the windows up.
Yep.
Fucking like
They were just pictures of Spanish Jesus everywhere.
You could get real
crosses and stuff. And they're like, oh no, the Spanish got to them.
you could get real hydraulics put in a ship too.
Their ships were fucking bouncing. They're like, you think those are waves, SA? You'd be wrong.
check out our Spanish fleet.
They put lifts, like ski lifts, on their fucking ship, so it's hovering outside of the water. Well, what was that thing? There was like that prototype product where some guy had like those hover skis where they had like the hydrofoil or whatever it was, like attached to the bottom of the ski. So like when you're skiing, you're like 4 feet above the water. They just have that on their ship.
That'd be
so
fucking dope.
When they get up to speed, the ship's like just hovering above the water.
So my personal theory as to what happened to the Roanoke colonists is I think it is similar to the movie Ravenous. I think that one of them got really hungry and ate another one, and then after that turned into a Wendigo with a taste for human flesh, and just started picking off each of the colonists one at a time, and then like went into the woods, into like a cave somewhere.
Credits.
What
And then
if,
that
like,
really dope ass fucking like wee song. This is so fucking cool.
I guarantee you Guy Pearce had something to do with that shit, though, one
guarantee
way or
you.
another.
Yeah.
What if they just got like mad cow disease and died?
I mean, maybe. I don't think they had any cows. I think they were starving to death.
Yeah, but they ate the cows, which is how they got the disease.
And then they ate each other.
They ate each other.
Turns into like 28 days later, but like with pilgrims.
Oh man, there's something wrong with Steve. Might as well eat him.
It's like Slither, just the woman in the barn, like, there's something wrong with me.
What if they all pointed at each other and screamed witch? Then they had to burn everyone.
They just lit themselves all on fire.
They're just like, damn it.
You kind of have to.
You can't take it back.
Yeah. No take backsies.
The entire
You can't
town,
take backsies witchcraft.
the entire town was just like, witch, jinx, you owe me a soda. Fuck.
Fuck. And then everybody drowned each other. Just somebody's turning everyone into newts.
I'm picturing fucking 150 people at the same time going, witch, jinx, you owe me a soda.
Damn it.
And they're all just like, whoa.
And then everyone has to be burned at the stake
I
because
think
there's
we
no
all
other choice.
are witches.
How else did we sync up like that? Has to be witches.
That was freaky.
Their minds just exploded when they did that.
There's like one little girl that didn't say it, and she's like, oh,
She's actually the witch.
Yeah, she's actually the witch.
She's just like glaring, like sneakily right in Croatella.
Yeah.
They're all burning themselves.
She's like the little demon from Supernatural.
Yeah.
Lilith, was that her
Yeah.
name? That's like what she is. She just turned everyone into Croatoans and they ate each other.
Exactly.
That's what happened. What had happened was...
See, what had happened was...
So, Palmer, you got a shout out this week?
My phone.
Your
My
phone?
phone is dope.
Damn it.
Damn it. I was going to say my phone.
Jinx.
Show me a soda. Damn it. I guess I have to set myself on fire now. Man.
It's the second time today.
Second time today. You are a witch.
My burn scars hurt.
Well, no, witches burn. What doesn't
No,
burn?
if she burns, then she's not a witch. If she doesn't burn, then she's a witch.
Wait.
That doesn't sound right.
That's how.
If she doesn't burn, she's not a witch.
Yeah, it's like it's like the drowning test. The drowning test was if she doesn't drown, she's a witch. So it's like...
So they were just gonna kill her.
Yeah, they were just gonna fucking kill her anyway.
It's like,
they're like
if you shoot them in the head and their head doesn't explode.
Literally,
she's a witch.
Literally, it
She's
would be
JFK.
like some Puritan guy walks up and he's like, "Yo, baby, you want to see my like heavenly staff?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Witch!" And then they drown her in the river. That's how like the witch trials worked. Like if you were a woman who like thought for yourself or had like any kind of sexuality, dead, like burned. That's how they thought. They were like fucking witch.
I wonder if anybody has tried to run for president on the platform of
not a witch.
Everybody's a witch,
except for me.
It is current year. Everybody seems to be thinking for themselves and have some weird ass sexuality. They're all witches.
They're all witches.
There you go. There's your platform.
How else are we supposed to stop the spread of jihad if not through witchcraft?
I saw something in a forum the other day. This has nothing to do with witches or anything like that, but it just reminded me of like today or like day and age or whatever, where someone was like, "Oh, good morning," and they're like, "Did you just assume my time zone?" I'm just like, God damn it.
Amazing.
So, Ryan, what's your shout out this week?
All right. So on three, we both say our shout out at the same time.
Okay.
One, two, three. Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz.
You didn't say it.
I know. I panicked.
What was yours? No, wait, but what were you going to say? No, yeah, cheese whiz. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say Cheese Whiz.
You're like, you both count down 3, 2, 1, and then you yell Cheese Whiz, but Mike just goes, "Hail, said Cheese Whiz!"
Cheese Whiz. Yeah, of course. Hail Satan.
Hail, Satan.
My real shout out is that gif, the gif of the dog. That's the sick hail.
My shout out is to the gif of the cat where they put the flower on its head and then
Yes.
it sees through time and space.
Oh, I love that one.
That's what my shout out looks like this week.
Oh, we're doing gifts.
It's a gif exchange.
Yeah.
What a shitty present. It's a gift exchange, and it's just like someone goes really cheap on the gift exchange, and they like someone gives you a minute-long gift, and then like in return you're like, "Here's a Tumblr gift." And it's like 2 frames, and it just keeps repeating.
It's like one person's eye like twitching and like it's not even looped well.
Or it's one of those gifts that's not really a GIF, where it's like
it's just a
what
picture.
It was like
that
that. No, there was like
The
a
JPEG.
there was like a quote unquote GIF of that thing on Facebook, that Pusheen or whatever, that cat.
Yeah.
And it was literally just like, it wasn't moving. The drawing was just like weirdly vibrating. like the outline of the cat was just like slightly moving. It wasn't actually a GIF, and I was like, you just made me download way too much to watch a fucking picture twitch.
God damn
Wasting my fucking
it.
data.
Motherfucking time.
So, my shout out this week is to the Wu-Tang Clan because they got a new album out and it's fucking dope.
Woo.
And everybody
Does it
should
have
listen to
everybody in the Wu-Tang Clan?
everybody who's currently in the Wu-Tang Clan.
Who isn't currently in the Wu-Tang Clan?
A lot of people.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
a lot
probably
of people died.
There's probably like 7 billion people not in the
Nah.
Wu-Tang.
I'm in the Wu-Tang Clan.
I'm in the Wu-Tang Clan, 100%. We could try to get you in as a legacy, but I don't know if
I ain't joining no cult.
It's a clan, okay?
it's a clan,
Okay, clan,
and it ain't
cult.
nothing to fuck with.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's my shout out this week.
What?
What? So write into us. Send us your suggestions for episode topics. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook, etc., etc. We'll see you guys again next week. Shit was dope.
If you rearrange the letters of clan, you get NSCL, which is salt.
My shout out is to the rapper.
My shout out is to chemistry.
My shout out is to the rapper Birdman.
Oh, dude, yeah. What?
My shout
I gotta
out
look up that
is
guy's
to
name.
that guy who wrote the thong song, who is now currently running a cult somewhere.
Cisco.
Which, no fucking joke, he's literally running a cult right
Doesn't
now.
he also run like a major food corporation?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, he does.
my shout out is to Michael Dappa.
Michael Dappa.
Who wrote the dope song "Man's Not Hot." I've been listening to that like every day for like a week, and it's just fucking hilarious every time I listen to it.
It's like, hell yeah. My shout
2
out.
plus 2 equals 4. Minus 1, that's free. Quick maths. That's like the opening line.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
That's like open my trunk.
Well,
Open
like,
my trunk.
Dude,
Open
you
my
guys
trunk.
have to
Open
watch that video. It
open
is
my trunk.
hilarious.
Molly.
It's literally
Molly.
about a
High school, that's college.
Molly.
Chinese food,
Molly.
spaghetti.
Molly.
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 Jesus. But the song is about a guy in Florida from England who constantly wears like a winter jacket, and people keep like going, "Dude, take your jacket off." And he's like, "Man, it's not hot." That's the entire goddamn song.
That
dude.
is
I am
amazing.
intrigued.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to let that
You
one up.
ever see that video of the guy on? You might have seen it. It was on Reddit, but the guy who was in a recording studio and he just kept making like scrap, ba ba boo, bam. He's just saying all these fucking like gun sounds for like a minute straight. It's that guy.
Oh wow, that's even better. I'll have to watch that shit. You just reminded me of the guy who's like, people tell me that my life is no good, but I know that I have real education.
Oh,
Shit like that. That guy was so amazing.
Wasn't that video like 48 minutes?
Yeah,
long?
it is so fucking long. And then he has like,
It felt like it.
yeah, it felt like an eternity. Dude, did I send you the video for that Ambrosia song where like the guy like made it as a dedication to his wife, and like it's just like all these random pictures, like his wife is like this big woman with a mustache, and it's like, but it'll be like a tiger, and then lightning, and then like like electric guitar, and then his wife, and then his cat, and then like a keyboard, and then like his cat again, and like it ends with them like staring at a sunset while he sits in her lap. And it's one of the funniest fucking videos
Wait, what is this?
I've ever seen. I'll have to show you as soon as we quit recording because it is incredible. But yeah, send us your suggestions, emails, feedback, review us on iTunes. It helps us a lot. We've been getting a lot of hate reviews from Angel Blanco and his buddies. So, you know, send us something.
Man's not hot.
Man's not hot. so yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Angel
I
Blanco
don't.
sounds like a D tier like Batman villain.
He really kind of is.
It's like the bottom rung of like villains. The one who just like constantly shows up and gets his ass whooped to start off the real story.
Yeah, he's the one that Batman busts because he's like jerking off in women's locker rooms.
he's
Like
the,
that's who he is.
He's the God damn it, the kid from South Park. The
Titterman? Scott Titterman?
no, the Butter. He's the
Butters.
He's the Butters of evil villains.
Professor Chaos.
He's the Professor Chaos.
Yeah, fucking Butters is so awesome. He's my favorite.
Boy.
Bye. Man, that episode was dope. You know what else would be dope? If you guys told us your paranormal stories. I know some of you have seen ghosts, some of you have seen fucking UFOs, some of you have seen Bigfoot. If you write into us, we have an email. It is weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. We really want to read you guys' emails. If you want to just give us a shout out, you can give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to record a voice message, I want to start putting voice shout-outs at the beginning of every episode now. So if you send us those, that would be fucking dope. We have the Google Voice number. If you'd rather call up and leave us a voicemail, you can tell us your story that way. Send us some positivity, man. Keep the positivity coming. It's the number for that is 919-346-3071. That's 919-346-3071. We also have a Facebook group, the Weird Shit Podcast official Facebook group. We're on there all the time. We're posting memes. We want to talk to you guys. Fucking tweet at us. Fucking Facebook us. Fucking email us, man, because we love to hear from you, and we want to keep doing this forever. Hey everybody, Mike here. I just want to take a second to talk to you about our Patreon we have set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a way where fans and listeners like yourselves can choose an amount every month to donate towards the show. Your donations will be put towards buying new equipment. It'll be put towards buying munchies because fucking Palmer is insatiable. It'll be put towards helping us pay our dues for hosting the show and for keeping the websites going. And honestly, the main thing it'll help us do is let me take more time to do more research on these topics. I have a full-time job. I work 60 hours a week, and then I spend 40 hours doing research for you guys because I love this show and I want to give you the best thing I possibly can. So if you have anything you want to give us, if you think we deserve anything for that work, feel free to go to Patreon and donate whatever you can. If not, man, it's cool. Like, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad you're listening. Just share the show with whoever you think would be interested, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know, they might just be starting a podcast.
Hey guys, it's Lainey, host of the True Crime Fan Club podcast. If you're a true crime addict like I am, then my podcast is for you. It's a podcast for the ultimate true crime enthusiast, giving you a glimpse into the life and crimes of the most demented minds. You won't want to miss an episode.
Do you ever wonder how folk art museums in Utah are connected to erotic Renaissance literature? Did you know a turkey puppet ran for the presidency of Ireland? Do you get in trouble at work for clicking through article after article out of pure boredom? Well, hide in your headphones and let us tumble down the digital rabbit hole for you.
We are the Wiki Ship Down podcast. We live in an age where the sum total of humanity's knowledge is in your pocket on a smartphone at any given time. But when that knowledge is peer editable, what does that say about mankind? I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ruth Ann.
And join us as we hit the random button and dive into the depths of Wikipedia.